All right, y'all. Today we're taking a look at this boudoir photography business. We're gonna check its local and its city search and see if it's got BSS, things like that. So we're back here in the GBC universe, taking declining boudoir photographers to the #1 boudoir photographer in their city. As always, our North Star is FSIC, full spectrum intent capture. More about that, pin video, whatever, home video, somewhere around here. This is because FSIC explains why all boudoir photographers either rise or fall. So over on the left here, we got the highest intent peeps, in the white here. The highest intent peeps. These are the Google searchers, the social searchers. They're searching for a boudoir photo shoot in their city. So when they're doing that in their city, that's closest to the money, fastest conversions, and that's what we want. Over on the right, we got the lowest intent peeps, which people who are not searching for boudoir photography right now, or boudoir photo shoot in their city right now, and most of the time have no idea what the heck boudoir even is. And we deal with that with our sister brand, Boudoir FB Ad Doctor, where we talk about BLCS. But over here, we talk about BSS, and all right, so let's see what that is. All right, so BSS is boudoir search sameness. This is when a boudoir photographer has either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. 0 is terrible, that means we're on page 2 or deeper, and we already know approximately 80% of all Google searches never even hit page 2. So page 1 only searches, and as a result, the if we're on page 2, we're invisible, and our business will be failing pretty fast. Also, if we only got 1 slot on page 1, there's 10 organic slots on page 1. If we got 1 of them, guess what? We're being compared. A buyer, they're just going to click through everyone. Since we all look the same, we all got 1 link. A buyer simply going to be clicking through everyone on page 1, and approximately 80% chance they never even go to page 2. And so their filling everyone's contact form and price shopping everyone, negotiating, getting the best deal possible for themselves, and it's really a race to the bottom at that point. So we do not, boudoir search is bad. And 0 or 1 slots on page 1 Google is actually not normal. It's accepted, it's common, but it's not normal. It's actually a symptom of 2 deeper root causes. And those 2 deeper root causes are 1, market saturation, which basically everyone knows about. People get a new gear, new iPhone, new camera, and they're throwing up their Google Maps profile saying they're shoot boudoir. They're shooting, throw up their websites saying they shoot boudoir, and also, posting in the Mon groups saying they shoot boudoir. So market saturation, more sellers for the same number of buyers makes it harder for every single seller. That's the basis of it. Now, the second one, which basically nobody knows about, is the false belief of page 1 equality. So page 1 equality was something that's kind of always been accepted, kind of automatically without people think about it. It's, just assume and accepting, every boudoir photographer gets either 0 or 1 slots on page 1 of Google. And as a result, maybe I was on page 1, and someone else came and ranked above. Okay, it pushed me down to page 2, but that's what happens. That's the game, and I gotta hope they delete their website and Google stops indexing them so hopefully Google picks me to go back on page 1. Nope, 100% incorrect. It's a false belief, because what I've learned is that Google will actually give as many page 1 slots to the business that wants them and puts in the work to acquire them, puts in the effort to acquire them. And I know that because I went from 0 out of 10 slots on page 1 of Google to 9 out of 10 page 1 slots on Google in only 10 days because I wanted them. So I wanted those slots, so put in the effort to take those slots. So now we actually have a case study showing that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief. Next, we know that boudoir photographer with BSS, boudoir search sameness, is a disappearing boudoir photographer, a BBP. So, if we're on page, if we're got 0 slots on page 1, obviously we're disappearing because we're on page 2 or deeper, and approximately 80% of the market will never even see us. And if we got 1 slot on page 1, we're essentially invisible, being price shopped to death. Just really spinning our wheels, wasting our time, so disappearing as well. And it's kind of the canary in the coal mine, the warning light, warning light on our dashboard, check engine light saying, hey, you're disappearing. And that means the boudoir photography business is also on a path to disappearing. So this is, that's why we like, the local search and the city search, so we can see kind of what path is our boudoir photography business on. But now, thankfully, finally, thank the universe, we now have a solution. We have figured out that BSS is treated with social search saturation, aka S-cubed methodology. And it works exactly as the name says. We saturate social search, search on social media sites with the highest intent keywords, and we show up there, take as many slots as possible, and that's this kind of like it's like the backside of the Andes down in South America, where the snow is melting, goes into small streams, small rivers, and eventually it all collects into the large Amazon River. The Amazon River is page one on Google, so we basically got to kind of seed our Amazon River way at the top of the Andes with our social search saturation. And this is the only solution for boudoir photographers that I've seen that can actually successfully still enable a business to grow, have the possibility of growing in the face of more and more and more market saturation in a relatively quick time frame. The only other second option that exists is brand, building a massive known brand. But dude, that takes 5 to 10 years. We ain't got 5 to 10 years. AI's here taking people's jobs, forcing more people to become boudoir photographers because everyone's got a camera or a smartphone with awesome cameras, and people still need to earn money even though AI is taking their jobs. So we ain't got 5 to 10 years to make a brand. So SQ methodology kind of allows us to shortcut that a little bit. Well, at least by getting on page one of Google. And by my estimates, it actually enables a brand to actually grow a brand at, my estimate is 8x as fast, kind of 8x speeded up. That's an estimate though, just because it'll be on so many surfaces, just for passive, content kind of consumption on social media, but we'll be dominated on surfaces for social search and Google search. So my estimate is it'll speed up brand building 8x. And imagine got a well-known brand and you're still executing SQ methodology to make sure nobody in your city can ever touch you. I mean, it's ultra powerful. Now, here's an example of SQ methodology kind of enabling a business to still grow in the face of massive competition. Imagine we got a million boudoir photographers in Denver, Colorado. Denver, Colorado, aka Denver. And we're one of them. We got, everyone's got their websites and they do boudoir photo shoots. Everyone's trying to rank page one on Google. And we're like, all right, to compete here, the only solution we got here is S-cubed methodology. So we crank that up to the max. And let's say we saturate the first, 300 slots on page one of Google, or no, first 300 slots for the highest intent keywords across all social search. So now any time a boudoir buyer searching those high intent keywords on social search, we pop up. Then that flows onto Google, and let's say we got the first 300 slots on Google. There's 10 organic slots per page, so we're taking up the first 30 pages on Google. And basically, none of our competitors are being seen until, someone scrolls down to the 301st position or goes to page 31 on Google organic search. Then if we're basically the only one peeps can find, they keep seeing us, they keep seeing us, they keep seeing us. Then it's basically inevitable. We're going to be the only ones growing, and all the other boudoir photographers are going to be shrinking, disappearing, going out of business, going invisible. So, yeah, SQ methodology is the only solution I've seen that allows boudoir photographers to, gives them a chance to continue to grow in the face of massive market saturation. Now, once treated with S-cubed methodology, we have page one visibility and kicking competing boudoir photographers off page one, effectively making them invisible. So it's kind of a second initial benefit. First initial benefit, obviously, we get more slots page one on Google. Second initial benefit is we're actually kicking our competitors off of Google in our city and making them essentially invisible, becoming disappear, and making their business eventually disappear. Because we know approximately 80% of Google searches never hit page two. They're page one only searches. Now, page one visibility activates boudoir search visibility for us. So for this, the GBC universe recommends a minimum of 3 out of 10 page one slots on Google. That's because if everyone else got one slot, we got 3, we're dominating them. And the off chance, the super rare chance someone has 2, which is ultra rare, we're still dominating them. So we're basically dominating everyone in all scenarios. And a boudoir photographer with BSV is a visible boudoir photographer, a VBP. So we got our micro universe here, a disappearing boudoir photographer with boudoir search sameness. It's caused by the dual horns of market saturation and the false belief of page one equality. Thankfully, yes, I think the universe, we do finally have a solution, S cubed methodology, that we achieve page one visibility and become visible boudoir photographers with boudoir search visibility. All right, so now onto my results using S cubed methodology. I wanted to dominate the keyword for BLCS boudoir, and I exclusively used S cubed methodology to get these current results. So we did this for organic search, obviously. It's for ranking in organic search. Let's go to the organic slots. So we got organic slot 1, Instagram, me. Slot 2, me. Slot 3, me. Slot 4, me. Slot 5, me. Slot 6, me. Slot 7, me. Slot 8, me. Slot 10, me. So I went from 0 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, to 9 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google, in only 10 days, purely using S cubed methodology. Now we're here to the main event. We're going to see if this boudoir photography business, the local and the city search, see what's happening for BSS, boudoir search sameness, see if it's in the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. All right, so we're going to LaPorte, Texas, and Houston. All right, LaPorte, Texas. All right, let's see. All right, going to the organics. All right, see what we got here. All right, boom, we got 1. Boom, we got 2. All right, so we've passed the BSS threshold. We do not have BSS. Boom, we got 3. All right, we've hit the GBC recommended minimum. Boom, we got 4. And all right, we got 4 out of 10 for local search. Good. So we don't have any BSS. We do not have, and we are hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. Perfect. That's exactly what we want to see. All right, now I'm gonna check here. Houston, Texas. All right, let's see what we got. Nope, nope, nope. No, all right, we are not. So we are not even showing up. So we're at 0 out of 10. So local search, good. We're dominating that, and do not have BSS. We reached the GBC recommended minimum, 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 of Google. City search, Houston, we are not ranking at all. We got BSS for that one, and we're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google. So if you're a disappearing boudoir photographer, meaning you've done your local searches, your city searches for the highest intent boudoir buyer keywords in your areas, and you're saying you have BSS for at least one of those searches, or you're not hitting the GBC recommended minimum of 3 out of 10 slots, page 1 on Google search for at least one of those searches, and you've accepted that the false belief of page 1 equality is exactly that, a false belief, and Google actually will give us and wants to give us as many page 1 slots on Google as we want to put in the effort to acquire. And you've been looking for some like SQ methodology. SQ methodologies, your one path forward that you can see that will actually help you, get all these slots. And you like the initial benefits, more slots, page 1 Google search, and you really like kicking your competing with photographers off page 1 Google search, effectively making them invisible to approximately 80% of the marketplace. You like those. You also understand the market saturation. Yeah, more peeps become with photographers over time. Okay, yeah, who doesn't know that? But you're thinking ahead and you're being like, man, AI is taking more and more peeps jobs. Last time that happened, COVID, and people lost their jobs, but people still had to earn money. So everyone's got a high-powered smartphone, ultra-powered camera. So tons of peeps became boudoir photographers then. So you're like, oh no, there's actually going to be more and more and more boudoir photographers entering the marketplace because they lost their jobs, still got to earn money. Way above and on top of the people that are simply naturally upgrading their gear. So you're actually realizing, man, I actually got to fortify my position on page 1, and I have like so many page 1 links that Google is ranking me for on page 1 that Google actually runs out and starts putting my page 1 worthy links to force them to start filling out page 2, 3, and 4. And you need to fortify because you actually got to keep current competing with boudoir photographers from ever ranking page 1 Google search. And as Also, any new boudoir photographers that come in losing their job due to AI, remember ranking page 1 Google search. So you got to fortify your position like fortifying those levees down in Nolens, Louisiana. And so you're liking that future benefit, kind of fortification. You want to achieve page 1 visibility, become a visible boudoir photographer with boudoir search visibility, because you need these things on your way to becoming the #1 boudoir photographer in your city. You also understand execute and execute methodology correctly every single day. We're actually throwing up basically creating invisible thematic keyword columns in our brand, kind of attached, plugged into our brand. And as a result, we're building up this like massive backend AI keyword mindshare with all these highest intent boudoir buyer keywords plugged into our brand. So every new day we execute this, we get the benefits of higher probability being recommended here, AI overview right at the top, most premium organic placement on Google search or any search, whoever's using Bing search out there, and also increasing the probability that AI apps recommend us in parallel. ChatGPT search, Claude search, Perplexity, Microsoft Copilot, Google Gemini, they all run on the same backend thematic keyword kind of mindshare system, where it's looking at repetition, relevance, age, authority with all these different keywords. And that AI searches, dude, it's getting larger and larger, more and more and more every single day. And so, like in those feature benefits, and actually last time I did AI search with the wall photographers in the city, it was with ChatGPT, and dude, it returned me 3. When I did a manual search, Google search, manual Facebook search, I found like 60. So it's like, man, we gotta get these slots any way possible. And you're seeing SQ methodology is the only thing that kind of enables the speedy creation of these invisible thematic keyword columns compared to any other solution out there. You also like future benefit, building a large, well-known brand approximately 8x faster than normal methods or methods everyone else is using, because we're doing much higher volume across many more surfaces. And you also understand that since my current plan is to only work with one boudoir photographer per city, you also like that you have a chance to get all these benefits and prevent all your competitors from getting these benefits. So you can actually build up a massive backlog of page 1 worthy links ahead of your competitors and build up massive backend AI keyword mindshare, again, ahead of all your competitors. Basically make a big gap between all your current competitors and future competitors as AI takes their job, and kind of in preparation for that. And well, I mean, it's already happening already. And because of that, you decided to be first mover in your city, adopt this technology, be the first one so you can box everyone else out, because you understand the converse is if one of your competing boudoir photographers in your city signs on with me to use this first, then you're actually going to be, well, in order for you to compete, you're going to have to increase, or actually for first, you'd have to rederive SQ methodology for yourself. Well, actually derive it for the first time for yourself. And you would never actually be 100% confident you've derived it correctly, because we're the ones that invented it. And as a result of that, you'd be, you then have to equal our execution every single day in order to, and that would happen after that is you would maintain the gap that we currently have ahead of you, me and your competitor. So to make any headway, you'd actually have to double or triple our execution every single day. And in order for you to do that, well, you still wouldn't be even 100% confident executing this strategy, because you wouldn't be 100% confident you've correctly derived SQ methodology in the first place. And you'd be looking at all this and be like, dude, who's got 80 hours per day to do all this stuff? And so you realize all that, and you decide, oh, screw that. You're simply going to be the first mover in your city, because this opportunity is too good to pass up. And so if that's you, shoot us a DM. Hospital is currently closed for new patient intake, so even if you want to work with us, you cannot. But when the hospital does open for new patient intake, shoot us a DM, and we will see if you qualify for utilizing our S cubed methodology.